Hi guys, welcome to Generation Mingle, where boomers, millennials, Gen X, and Gen Z get together and chat and exchange experiences. And Alpha, she's listening for now. My name is B, I'm your host, and welcome back Suzette today.
Thank you.
She will join us. So, guys, I mentioned earlier that we are located in Las Vegas, and our last podcast, what was quite successful, was about addicting to alcohol. We didn't spoke about other addictions. So, since I mentioned we will be following up, we're not focusing as much on alcohol today, but we will focus on other addictions that majority of us forgetting. You don't
Yes.
think about this anymore. Suzette just said, what was that about this working out? You said something really funny.
Yes, we all wish that we had the exercise addiction. The one addiction I don't have.
And I said, be careful because that can lead to a lot of steroids. But that's just our little comments making fun here in our studio. So, you know, guys, non-drug and non-alcohol addictions often referred to as behavioral addictions. And recently, that increased and impacting different generations. And I just read several medical journals and started to look into statistics. And those emotional habits are getting quite, deep in especially younger generation, millennial and Gen Z, especially the technology and internet and TikToks, and you are literally can spend hours and hours. But this is just the light, gentle, right, addiction. So let me get you some statistic because we looked up this together earlier. So here it is, okay? Evidence statistic percentage. According to the World Happiness Report and SAMHSA.gov, Substances Abuse and Mental Health Services Organization, and PMC Public Medical Central, I have some statistics for you, which is astounding. I never believed. So here we go. Okay, so any substance abuse, such as like alcohol, in America, 12 years and up is 17%.
Wow.
17%, okay? Drug use disorder in United States, again, for a little bit younger adults, but again, it starts with 12 and up. It's astounding for me. Alcohol, just pure alcohol without mixture of, whatever it is, the other drugs people use, is 9.7% in 12 and up. Gambling disorder, 2.7% in adult population, okay? Food addiction, 10% only reported by themselves addicts, not as research, and I explain why, okay? Exercise addiction, since Suzette would like to know, 9%, okay?
Wow.
Sex compulsive sexual behavior, 6%, as the same level as is the exercise addiction. Workaholism, 10%. We work really as a nation really hard. That sometimes can lead to addiction. And internet addiction, 6%. In little bit younger generations, which is qualified as millennial or Gen Z. So here's a kicker, okay? We have a specific statistics that we run in all the time in details on
Right.
alcohol and drug abuse, the substances. But if it's coming of the behavioral addictions, we don't have really detailed statistics running at all the time. So sometimes we rely on the numbers according to these organizations, people admitting themselves. So you can just imagine the percentage has to be higher.
Oh, it
if
has to
we-
be way
yes,
higher.
Yes, right? So, but we're gonna start with very interesting something that probably not many of you know. Since we live in Las Vegas, as you know, we have a casinos on every single corner, okay? So, actually I have noticed the older generation boomers spending way too much time in the casino.
Yes.
And I think you spoke about this to me a couple of days ago, that's what
Oh,
you do.
for sure. The first thing you do is walk into the casino, and yeah, sadly, it's all of the older generation that's sitting there with, I always laugh because they have their little oxygen tanks and their cigarettes in hand and gambling away.
Well, it's astounding to me, um, because we did have a study done as well by the UNLV department, okay, and they have found out that majority locals that go to the casinos almost on daily routine and basis are 50 and up,
Wow.
65 and 70 and up. They can spend hours and hours, and they can literally spend, if it's coming financially, entire their retirement
Oh,
checks.
yeah.
Okay, and what's it's amazing to me that, okay, we're studying them, we're confirming that that's what it is, but where we are to judge them what they actually do with the money? Why are our kids or our grandkids expecting us to keep all of that and give it to them and not just have fun? Because UNLV find out why the people go there to those casinos at that age is because they're lonely.
I was going to say, definitely loneliness.
They like to socialize. They
Yeah.
like to see the people that they're working with. In addition to why Las Vegas or, in Atlanta, the gambling industry noticed that people in that age spending more time and are addicted to gambling is also a result of that they're working in that industry.
Yes.
In that in that local casinos that you have seen younger people working, no, they're like older
No.
than us, right?
I do. I think with the different changes in the generations, we're seeing a lot more of the boomers that are retired, maybe the early Gen Xers that were once retired. Now, with prices going up, they're having to go back to work. And yeah, it is. It's really sad because you're seeing them gamble away their paychecks, they're gambling away their lives. And a lot of it is because they are lonely, because we do live in a different generation now where our generation is based off of social media, the internet, and speaking from experience with two parents that are of the boomer generation and are older,
Right.
They don't have the computer skills.
Right.
They don't understand the internet, so they still do all of things in person. And yeah, when they live by themselves, they have no one to talk to.
Right.
So I think that's why they go to the casino, is because there's a lot of boredom, a lot of
Right.
loneliness, and then
then
the
in
game
addition-
offers that.
I'm sorry, do you know what just I recall? Another part. Do you know, guys, that we have in Vegas for 5-6 months 120, 150 Fahrenheit? And this is not just during the day.
Right.
But 100 is in the night as well. Those people rather would socialize and spend the money gambling versus sitting at home and paying for
Their
that
electric
air
bill.
condition, the AC. So this is also part of it,
Oh,
right?
for sure.
Yeah. And many people after work, again, they want to relax. So where they go on the machine and play.
Yeah.
So, wrapping this up, we have received a letter from Abuba. He's local here, actually. Okay. And Suzette will read today that letter from him. Go ahead, honey.
So he says, Dear Generation Mingle, I'm a boomer, and for most of my life, I believed hard work guaranteed security. What I didn't understand was how quickly addiction can quietly dismantle everything you built. For me, it was gambling. It started small, casinos on trips, then online gambling when it became easier, faster, private. I told myself I deserved it. Retirement stress, boredom, loneliness, gambling gave me the excitement and the illusion of control. What it actually gave me was debt. I hid it well. I moved money around. I chased losses. I kept believing the next win would fix everything. By the time I admitted I had a problem, my savings was gone. Then the house followed. Losing my home wasn't sudden. It was a result of hundreds of small decisions I refused to face. What hurts most isn't the money, it's knowing I had stability and I traded it for denial. If anyone listening thinks addiction only looks one way, it doesn't. Sometimes it looks like a quiet life slowly collapsing. From a boomer who learned too late that denial is expensive.
Well, thank you so much again for trusting us. I think that was just like, presentation of teaching every one of us, just stay away from the casinos, right? Don't put your feet on
Right,
the floor.
exactly.
But I think that this is exactly, expression of what we have just spoke about, the statistics and what we see ourselves and what's happened to our neighbors and what they do actually through the day, and what is the social life looks like behind a machine when they gamble, right? So to the response to you, whoever you are, I just wanted to say, you're part of that fastest growing gamblers generation, which is actually boomer.
Correct.
And I have not noticed not one boomer that doesn't spend some time in the casino, even if they don't go to the casino, doing the shopping, the finishing shopping and stop, because here in Las Vegas we have those machines in the grocery stores.
Yeah, they're in the gas stations.
Yes,
they're
so
everywhere.
it's just like hook on every corner. So they meet someone, sit down, chat. They spend $20 here, $20 here. Next thing you know, $300 is gone, right? With that small grocery shopping. So again, wrapping that, it is sad. I wish that the families of the boomers know that when they move and retire in Vegas, that they need to receive that phone call.
Yes.
That they need to have received that visit. That, they check on them, because this is why we create that generation mingle, that we are together, that we share the experience. And thank you for sharing that letter. But at the same time, is awakening to Gen X and millennials. Check on your parents and your grandparents. Assist them. Going through that. Let's go move to the next letter. Suzette has another letter, and I believe this is from Gen X. Is this correct?
It is.
Yeah.
It is from a Gen X listener. Dear Generation Mingle, I'm Gen X, and my addiction didn't involve substances. It was sports betting. At first, it felt harmless: fantasy leagues, weekend games, bonding with friends. Then apps made it constant. Every game, every night, every spare moment. I became obsessed. Distracted, irritable, always chasing the next win to cover the last loss. What I didn't see or refused to see was how absent I became at home. I wasn't present with my partner. I wasn't patient with my kids. My mind was always somewhere else, checking odds, tracking scores, hiding losses. The money mattered, but the secrecy mattered more. Trust eroded. Conversations turned into arguments. Eventually, my family stopped believing my promises. I didn't just lose bets, I lost my marriage. I lost daily access to my kids, and only then did I understand that addiction doesn't need chemicals to destroy a family. It just needs obsession and avoidance. This year, I'm rebuilding slowly with honesty, accountability, and regret that doesn't disappear overnight. Again, from the Gen X listener, learning what addiction really costs. Thank you. Generation Mingle, safe space to share. Well, we really appreciate your letter, and I definitely agree with him. I think sometimes we forget that these addictions are not just affecting the person with addiction. It doesn't affect your entire family, all the way to your children. It's really sad. I don't know, maybe for people who don't have addictions, I do have to say I have really never been a gambler, but I do recall one time I was out with my husband and he gave me $20 to throw in a machine, and what did I do? I turned around and won $350. Let me tell you, I can totally understand why people become addicted. It's very difficult. That dopamine hit that you get from your brain, of the exhilaration of winning money that you didn't have. Yeah, it's really exciting. And I can understand why I wanted to keep chasing that money.
Well, the thing is that when they have been just in the casinos was okay, but now the technology.
Oh, for sure.
Right? So it's not only then Gen X get in the car and run quickly to the sports book and put the bet on, right?
Right.
Now it's branching out to technology. And as the UNLV did the studies, I have the studies from 2025 where they admitted that Gen Z, 34% reported engaging in gambling online with a sports book.
Sure.
Okay, and millennials increased to 42 gambling with the sports book, where Gen Xers They are hanging between 19% and 23 together with the boomers, but they're rewarding themselves with the alcohol. Okay?
Right.
I'm sorry, but that's the reality. So that's again change in generations, right? That from a long time ago we were thinking, okay, casino gambling, alcohol, drugs, cocaine, whatever people have done, cigarette smokes. Now we are completely deep in technology gambling, and it's everywhere. However, you're pressing the buttons on the phone, you have a little games, and this is like the start, right? The little hook, the little fish bite, and you in. So now we're gonna move to different letter, okay? And I have the letter from, give me a minute, from a millennial. Here we go. Dear Generation Mingle. Hold on. I just move it. I am millennial, and my addiction looked acceptable on the outsides. Even celebrated shopping online carts, late night purchases, packages arriving daily. I told myself it was self-care, stress relief, reward for working hard. Social media made it look normal, even aspirational, right? Everything is on sale. What no one saw was the credit card debt, the anxiety when the bills came, the shame of hiding statements from my partner, the emptiness that came back minutes after every purchase. I was buying things. I wasn't buying things, I'm sorry. I was trying to fill something I didn't know how to face. Eventually, the debt became overwhelming. The lies became exhausting. My relationship nearly ended because trust eroded under the weight of secrecy. I am learning now that addiction doesn't always destroy loudly. Sometimes it drains you quietly, one click at a time. I'm millennial on learning what, quote, normal really means. Wow.
Wow, that's really powerful.
Interesting,
And
right?
thank you for sharing that, because I do think that he or she, has a very good point that I think a lot of people with addiction suffer in silence, because it's not something, of course, that we're proud of if we do have addiction.
It's a shame,
It
right?
is. It's
a
really
shame,
sad.
yeah. And you would never think
No.
that your friend, your girlfriend would do something like that.
Right.
You would never think about the shopping that will be something that is addiction.
Right.
You say, okay, she likes to spend money. Who doesn't in today's days like to, praise themselves and relieve some stress after hard work? Yeah. Hold on. I have a comment. Hold on. Hi, this addiction is very difficult. I remember my girlfriend was shopping at all the time. I find clothes hidden in the kitchen cabinets behind the pots and pans, under the bed, and makeup was one of the worst spendings. As I checked one day, the price of makeup that she hid underneath the sink in the bathroom reached about $5,000.
Wow.
She even used her credit card at work, and as a result, she lost the job. We are not together anymore for other reasons, but I hope she did reach out for professional help. Jack. Wow. Well, Jack, I'm sorry you went through, and I'm sorry for your girlfriend. The $5,000 is quite shocking, but this is what it is about.
It is.
Shopping addiction, right?
Right.
You notice. So thank you so much for sharing, and thank you so much for sharing, all the letters so far, because again, when we can exchange the knowledge, what one brings to the other step by step, I think it is important that one generation learn from the other. Let's go stop and rethink that the next step, what I'm doing, right?
Yes.
If this is something that could destroy my peace and my health and my mental stability, because obviously something going on, something is not right. And as we're talking about, I refer everyone that for some reason lived through something similar, please reach out to professionals. They are out there, they're available. Okay.
That is the one thing I would, excuse me for interrupting
Yeah.
you, but that's one thing I definitely really appreciate the letters. And I think that's one of the things that we all have to know is that trying to deal with addiction on your own is pretty much you're going to fail, because there's a lot of things within you that you may not realize are going on, and that's why addictions occur. So I do think it's really important that we stress to our families,
Right.
our friends, that there is help out there. I've heard some people also that say they can't afford help. I definitely recommend looking. There's all kinds of different free agencies out there that can point you in the direction
Well, the
of
first
addiction
one, yeah,
for
AA
counseling.
Anonymous. There is a,
Yes.
Anonymous. All the organizations are available. They are
Right.
there. You start with one. You just Google. It's there. If you can use the internet, you're in. Okay. But what I want to say, not reaching out to professional help will turn out one addiction in the other, because all the professional medical magazines that I have read, if you are addicted to alcohol and you quitting that, you're gonna turn to something else, whatever it is. If it's a sport, if
Yes.
it's exercise, if it's shopping, if it's excessive
Yes.
working, if it's excessive, I don't know, playing chess or playing golf, it's gonna happen. But we running out of time, and I want to dedicate the last several minutes to someone that touched my heart and turned me to tears. So please, I'm sorry if I'm gonna be emotional reading that letter. Okay, I am Gen Z, and I'm admitting this feels uncomfortable, but I am addicted to sex. Not the way movies or a social media glamorize, okay? Not in fun, carefree way. For me, sex becomes an escape, a way to feel wanted, validated, powerful, or simply numb when everything else felt overwhelming. I grew up in a world where access was instant. Apps, messages, content, attention, sex was always available, always encouraged, always framed as empowerment. No one talked about limits. No one talked about what happened when use intimacy to avoid myself. At first, it felt like control. Then it became compulsion. I crossed boundaries. I swore I wouldn't. I disconnect from my own values. I confused attention with affection and intimacy with worth. Relationships didn't last, or I never started because I couldn't be present or honest. Trust became impossible when I wasn't even honest with myself. The consequences aren't just emotional, they are internal. Shame, disassociation, anxiety, a constant feeling of being split between who I am and who I pretend to be. I function on the outsides, but inside I'm exhausted from carrying secrets and patterns I don't know how to break along. What hurts most is realizing how lonely addiction can be, even when you are constantly surrounded by people. This year, I'm trying something different. I'm solving down. I am questioning why I reach for sex instead of connection, validation instead of vulnerability, distraction instead of healing. I'm learning that empowerment isn't access, it is choice. I am sharing this because I know I am not the only one my age struggling with this in silence. Addiction doesn't always look like a rock bottom. Sometimes it looks like being praised while quietly falling apart. I don't have all the answers yet, but I'm choosing honestly over hiding, and that feels like the first step. Thank you for making space for my stories on your podcast. A Gen Z listener learning that the difference between intimacy and escape is not always easy to solve. Okay, listen, Gen Z, you're not, I know you're hurting, I know you have a problems, but in my eyes, you are absolutely a hero, okay? And it's incredible that you brought that. I'm hoping that you already, seems like the way you're expressing yourself, that you're already reaching out to professionals, and they are definitely there. So please, 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 please stay in that therapy, okay? Also, hold on, I have a social worker online. Hi, I'm social worker. In addition to personal help, I'm gonna read that because this is someone that has to do with probably addiction. You may find useful as well. Create space between impulse and addiction, okay? Even briefly, okay? try to meditate. Seek peer support. So if you have a friend or anybody that you attending an addiction community, try to spend the time with them versus others. Okay, reconnect with the body in non-sexual ways. Exercise. Okay, go for a walk. Take a trip to places that you're comfortable with, beach or a mountains, whatever is the best for you, and practice self-compassion. And that's probably the most important part.
It
To
is.
think about yourself. So, guys, we're running out of time, but I wanted to read that Gen Z. Whatever your addiction is, please take care of yourself. Okay. Please subscribe to our podcast if you enjoyed that. Give us a thumbs up. And I believe we will be continue on that topic because it's very sincere. Whatever you have learned, whatever your experience are, and you can try to help adult generation, reach out to us. I love these letters, and thank you for them sincerely. Remember, okay, keep your music loud, Wi-Fi strong, okay, and keep the conversation just strong enough to keep on talking and mingle. Thank you, guys.